Today, we are diving deep into one of the most intense, most powerful monologues in all of literature. We're going to get inside the head of Adam right after the fall and break down the anatomy of guilt, despair, and what it really means to take responsibility, all straight from Milton's Paradise Lost. So let's just jump right into the middle of his agony. I mean, imagine this. One moment, you're literally the glory of that glory, the pinnacle of a perfect world. And the next, you're hiding, feeling utterly cursed. The shock of that reversal, falling from the absolute height of bliss, is the very core of his misery. And right away, Adam's crisis isn't just about him. It's not just, oh no, I'm in trouble. No. It's this dawning horror that his one single action has kicked off a terrible chain reaction, one that's going to poison the entire future of humanity. At first, he gets it. He admits, yep, I deserved it. I'll take my punishment. He knows he did wrong, and he's ready to bear the consequences himself. He accepts personal responsibility. But the true horror is just starting to sink in, because the punishment, it doesn't stop with him. And this right here is the absolute kicker. The curse isn't some one-and-done penalty. Milton calls it a propagated curse. It's like a self-replicating poison that he's going to pass down through his children and their children for all of time. His very existence has now become a source of corruption. He remembers God's first command, and you can almost hear the joy in it, right? It was this beautiful promise of life, of growth, of a future filled with generations enjoying a perfect world. But now, that beautiful memory just makes his current situation 1,000 times worse. It's this absolutely terrifying inversion. That incredible blessing of creation has been twisted into a sentence of damnation. The act of having children now just means creating more suffering, multiplying curses that, as he realizes, will be blamed directly on him by every single one of his descendants. So completely overwhelmed by this unbearable weight, Adam's mind starts scrambling for an escape. His back is against the wall, so he pivots and tries to lawyer his way out of it, launching this legalistic argument against God himself. He's looking for any loophole he can find. And honestly, it's a powerful and profoundly human question, isn't it? He's basically saying, hey, I never asked for this. I didn't sign this contract. How can you be held responsible for breaking the rules of a game you never, ever chose to play? He really presses his case here. His logic is, if you made me without my consent, then the only fair punishment is to unmake me. Just poof, reduce me back to dust. He's arguing that losing paradise should have been penalty enough. Adding endless woes on top of that just feels cruel and unjust. But here's where it gets really fascinating. The second he makes this excuse, his own conscience, his own reason, turns against him. It's like a courtroom drama erupts inside his own head, and suddenly he's his own prosecutor. You can just see his mind at war with itself. For every excuse he crafts, his own logic comes back with this devastating rebuttal. You enjoyed all the good parts of the deal, so you can't complain about the conditions now. And then the knockout blow, he asks himself if he'd accept that same lame excuse from his own kid. And the answer is a hard no. He just can't win his own internal debate. He's exhausted all of his rationalizations. And he's forced to admit that God's judgment is fair. It's just. And so he submits. The argument is over. He lost. To himself. So Adam now accepts his death sentence. And for a moment, it almost sounds like a relief. But just when you think it can't possibly get any worse, a new and way more horrifying possibility starts to creep into his mind. For just a fleeting second, death seems like the perfect escape. He actually longs for it. The idea of just becoming dirt again, of being able to sleep secure, and finally get away from his own tormented thoughts in God's thundering voice, it sounds like paradise now. But then, this tiny, awful thought takes hold. What if only his body dies? What about that pure breath of life, the spirit that God breathed into him? What if that part can't die? What if it's immortal? This leads him to this terrifying concept of a deathless death. And this is his ultimate fear. It's not just dying, it's being trapped in the state of dying forever. A living death with no end and absolutely no possibility of escape. Just pure, unending suffering. After trying to reason his way out of everything, this horrifying idea just comes crashing back down on him with unstoppable force. He realizes he and death might be bound together for all eternity, and his mind has absolutely no defense against this new level of terror. And that brings us to the final turn of the spiral. This is the moment where all of his excuses, all of his evasions, they just collapse into one single crushing realization. He basically walks through the maze of his own mind and finds that every single path he's taken, it all leads back to the same place, his own guilt. He is forced by his own logic to completely absolve God. There is no one and nothing else left to blame. And this is so crucial to get. It's this moment of absolute, total acceptance of responsibility. The blame isn't shared with Eve, it's not deflected onto the serpent or God. He sees himself as the single source and spring of all the world's pain. All the blame, he concludes, falls on him, and on him only. And this is where we leave him. The monologue doesn't end with a neat little bow of grace or resolution. It ends here, with Adam utterly trapped in the abyss of his own conscience. His mind has become a prison with no exit. He's just plunging from one depth of horror into the next, with no way out. It is a chilling, unforgettable portrait of the birth of human guilt.